When did throwing something at someone actually solve your problem? It happened during a tense standoff with Taliban fighters in Afghanistan when Private Johnson threw his boot at what we thought was an enemy sniper and accidentally ended a 3-hour firefight. We'd been pinned down behind a concrete wall outside Kandahar for most of the afternoon. Every time someone tried to move, a sniper from a nearby building would take shots at us. We couldn't advance, couldn't retreat, and couldn't get a clear shot at whoever was shooting. Johnson was crouched next to me, getting increasingly frustrated with the situation. He'd been complaining for an hour about how his left boot was killing his foot because of a broken piece of metal inside that kept digging into his heel. "I swear this boot is going to cripple me before the Taliban does," Johnson muttered, unlacing it for the 10th time to try and fix whatever was jabbing him. The temperature was pushing 110 degrees, we were running low on water, and morale was getting worse by the hour. Our radio operator had been trying to call for air support, but helicopters were tied up with other operations. That's when the sniper fired again, sending concrete chips flying over our heads. Johnson had finally had enough of everything, the firefight, the heat, and especially his painful boot. In a moment of pure frustration, Johnson yanked off his boot and hurled it over the wall in the general direction of the sniper's building. "Take that, you bastard!" he yelled, immediately realizing how stupid he'd just acted. We all looked at Johnson like he'd lost his mind. You don't solve military problems by throwing your footwear at the enemy. Our squad leader started to yell at him for compromising our position with his outburst. But then something amazing happened. The shooting stopped completely. We waited for 5 minutes, then 10, then 15. No more sniper fire. Nothing. Our squad leader finally decided to risk a look over the wall to see what was happening. He came back down, laughing so hard he could barely speak. "Johnson," he said, "you need to see this." We carefully moved to a position where we could observe the sniper's building. There, on a third-floor balcony, was Johnson's boot sitting next to an old Afghan man who was waving a white cloth at us. Turns out our sniper was a 70-year-old farmer who'd been trying to scare us away from his property by firing an ancient rifle in our general direction. He wasn't actually trying to hit anyone, just make us leave. When Johnson's boot landed on his balcony, the old man apparently decided that Americans who threw their shoes at people were either completely insane or had some kind of supernatural powers. Either way, he wanted no part of continuing the fight. Through our translator, the farmer explained that he'd been hiding in his house for days while we set up positions near his field. He'd been shooting over our heads, hoping we'd get the message and move somewhere else. Johnson's boot had scared him more than all our advanced military equipment combined. He thought we were using some kind of psychological warfare technique involving footwear. We ended up having tea with the old man and his family. He returned Johnson's boot and even offered to repair the broken piece of metal that had been causing the problem. The incident became legendary in our unit. Anytime we encountered a difficult tactical situation, someone would inevitably suggest the Johnson method of throwing random objects at the enemy. Johnson never lived it down, but he also never had foot problems again. The old farmer had fixed his boot better than any military cobbler ever could. Sometimes the most unconventional solutions work better than all the training in the world.